I have a friend of mine who is an author of spiritual books, and she tells a story about being at a book signing of one of her books, and the bookstore had set a table up for her in front of the store, and she began signing books, and she happened to look up at the line of people waiting, and she noticed a woman online whom she described as vogue on the outside and a little bit vague on the inside. And she said the woman kind of sauntered up to the table and threw the book down at her and said to her, you can just make that out to a friend of mine because she's into all that stuff. And my friend, the author, said, I beg your pardon, into all what stuff? And the woman said, well, religion. That's a book about religion, isn't it? And my friend said, no, it's not. It's a book about a relationship with the living God. And she says that the woman's eyes filled with tears, and they began to stream down her beautifully made-up cheeks until finally she could say, well then, make that out to me because I don't have that. There are so many people who don't have that, who don't even know what you're talking about when you use that kind of language, a relationship with the living God. And as you maybe sit watching this morning or here in this congregation, I think it's a real good question for us to ask ourselves. Do we have a relationship with God that is alive, that is vibrant, that is ongoing, that somehow impacts or affects our lives? Or rather, do we just find ourselves going through the motions of religion, kind of doing what we have to do to be good Catholics, but it doesn't really intersect our life. It doesn't change us. You know, today we have the beautiful image presented to us of the Good Shepherd. And again, we've seen this image, Christ carrying the sheep. We've heard it. And yet, does it really resonate with us? I mean, this is one of the images of the living God whom we are in relationship with, that we are presented with. The shepherd who lays down the life, his own life, for the sheep, who has that kind of care, that kind of protection. If one sheep wanders away, the shepherd leaves the 99, we're told, and goes after the one. What does it feel like to be loved that way, to be cared for in that way? When we maybe are feeling like we're wandering away, or if we're hurt, the shepherd who picks us up and binds our wounds. What a wonderful image of the living God in relationship of care with us that is, and how it can really impact our lives if we hold on to it. When the Pope, John Paul II, visited, Frank McNulty, one of the priests, told him this story as he welcomed the shepherd, the Pope. He said that there was a famous actor who was performing at a Hollywood benefit dinner party, and he was performing readings from Shakespeare for the gathered guests. And when he was done with his performance for an encore, he offered to accept any requests from the guests. Well, he said that there was a shy, elderly, gray-haired priest at this dinner, and the actor didn't even know that he was there. And so he was finished with the Shakespeare, and he offered the encore, and this priest hesitantly raised his hand, and he stood up. And he said to the actor, instead of Shakespeare for an encore, could you recite Psalm 23? And he said the actor was a little surprised. He didn't even know the priest was there. And he hesitated for a moment. And then he said, well, yes, Father, I do know the psalm, and I will recite it, but only under one condition, that when I am finished, I would like you to recite the very same psalm. Well, needless to say, the priest was a little embarrassed, but he agreed to do it. And so the actor began, the Lord is my shepherd. There is nothing I shall want. And on he went with the psalm. And when he was done, all the guests applauded loudly. And then it was this priest's turn. And this priest got up, and in his own simple, heartfelt way, he said the same words, but this time no one applauded. There was just a hushed silence and tears in the eyes of some of the people. And the actor waited for a few moments and then stood up. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, I hope you realize what happened here tonight. I knew the psalm, but this man knows the shepherd. I think that that is what this day, this Easter day that we continue to celebrate is about. getting to know the shepherd, believing that when we need to be carried, we are, that when we wander, someone comes after us. That is the Good Shepherd.